Welcome to a microbit video, and in this video we're going to be looking at creating a dice rolling program, and just want to take you through the steps. So what you should have in front of you is that you should have your microbit ready, not plugged into anything, just unplugged completely. So you've got three parts. You've got the USB cable, you've got the battery pack, and the microbit itself. So don't plug anything, do anything to that at the moment. So first of all, we want to create a program. So if we go to microbit on Google, okay, and we go to the home page, okay, and create, let's get coding. They are actually changing their website at the moment, so you might find it looks a little bit different. So going back to Let's Code, and then we get get this, and we go into start with this editor, the block editor. Okay. So on your right hand side should be the emulator, and we've got all the blocks of code over here, and we've got our run, compile, and so on. So what we want to do, we're creating a dice rolling game that when you shake the microbit, it gives you a random number, based like a dice roll. Okay, so how could we start that? Okay, so we need some sort of input. We need the shaking input, don't we? Okay, so if we go to input, we want on shake. Okay, do something. Okay, what are we going to do? Okay, it's got to basically create a random number. Okay, but what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to something called variables. Okay, and variables in computer science and programming are bits of code that hold and store things. It could be data, it could be numbers or text, or strings of text or whatever. Okay, and we need to set up a variable that's going to hold the actual roll, which we can then display. Okay, so if we go to variables here, okay, and we drag this out. Now this is a variable, okay, but it's not. We want one called roll. So if we rename this, okay, to roll, as in dice roll, okay, whatever the program generates in terms of a number, we want to store it in this variable. Okay. And we're going to also use, we want to, each time we do a shake, we want to set the roll, okay, to a random number. Let's just drag that off now. Okay, click and trash. So on a shake, do what? Set the roll, okay, so click that way, set the roll to a random number, okay. So set to roll. So how would we get a random number? Okay, we'll go into the maths library. Okay, it's like it's like a little library, and we want to go into here. So pick a random. Pick random 0 to 4. Now you're probably thinking, well, hang on, there's 6 numbers on a dice. Okay, so if I shake it and if I run this code, set the roll to random 0 to 4. Okay, your first question is why 0? Well, in programming, the computer counts from 0. Okay, so 0 is the first number it counts. Okay, so that is a little bit weird. Okay. But that's just the way it is. So we actually want 0. So we count on your fingers. 0 is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5, okay, and 5 is 6. So I've actually got 6 fingers up here. So we actually want pick random 0 to 5, because that's counting 6 times. Okay, bit weird. Okay, so do that again. So I've got my fingers out. 0 is 1, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5, and 5 is 6. It's going to pick 6 numbers. So that's something that's a bit different in programming. So zeros in programming are treated as the first number. Okay, so But actually, well, hang on. If we're doing that, how do we display that? Okay, well, we need to sort of maybe put a calculation in here. Okay, so if we go to maths, okay, and we actually say, all right. So if I put in this, so it says, don't worry about this too much at the moment. So if I say it is pick a number between 0. What if it picks 0? Okay. What if the program picks 0? We actually don't want to have 0 because there's no such thing as a 0 on a dice. So actually, if we add 1 onto whatever the little random generator creates, that will be correct, won't it? So if I say, for instance, that's the computer picks 0. If we then add 1, it's going to be 1. If the computer picks 5, so if the program picks 5, it's going to add 1 and make it 6. Do you see what I mean? It's a bit of an interesting concept. Let's go with it. So let's do the logic. On shake, set the roll, set the number that we're going to hold, the variable, and we're going to say pick random between 0 and 5 and add 1 on to whatever that is. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. Now we need to say, we need to start thinking, well, okay, how are we going to display this? Okay, well, actually, wouldn't it be quite interesting to display it using the LEDs? So, you know, like on the front of the microbit, you've got the sort of the grid, okay, of lights, of LEDs, okay. Wouldn't it be great that if, say, if it picked 1, okay, it would actually show a little 1, you know, like on a dice. Okay, so if you look at a front of a dice, let's find a dice, picture of a dice. What's dice TV show? What's that? Let's find a dice. Here we go. So you see in the front of a dice, you've got the 1 there. Wouldn't it be good, like on the front of the microbit, to do that as well? So if we highlight which LED we want to turn on, that's going to be, say, for 1. All right. But we want to say, okay, we want a bit of programming here, a bit of like an if statement. If it is, if the number, the roll, okay, is 1, show the 1. Okay. So how do we do that? How do we show that? Okay. So if we say, if we say, here we go. If we drag this in, this if. So if something happened, if 1 is chosen, show this. Okay, so we'll show the LEDs, and that's not ready to click in yet. Oh yeah, hang on, yes it is in there like that. Okay, so if it's that, do that. Okay, but we need to say if this roll, if this number that's being generated is 1, so we need to say, okay, if, let's go to variables, if roll, okay, is equal to 1, so we need some maths in here, don't we? So if it's equal, so we need to get this to show, where's equal gone? Let's click that back in over here. If it's, it's logic, not maths. If it's equal, okay, if the roll is equal, so we need to take that out and go in here. If the roll is equal, okay, to 1, okay, do this, okay, and let's click that in there now, okay. So if the roll is equal to 1, show LEDs, okay, so then we can drag this whole big block up into here. Okay, so we've now got the program for 1. Let's run it, see what happens. Okay, so if we run that, okay, and give it and shake it, oh, there we go. I've shaken it a few times and it's come up with 1. Okay, so we can see that that roughly works. Okay, it's not showing the other numbers, but it's roughly working. Okay, so now, okay, how do you think we might do the rest of it? Okay, how do you think we might do the rest of it? Well, it's actually relatively simple. what we can do is we can right click on this bit of code here and called duplicate it, a bit like in Scratch, okay, and we can add this in here, but now say if it's the roll is 2, okay, show the number 2. Now in a dice roll, the number 2 is like that, isn't it? It's sort of like that, okay, and it's just quite easy from then on to finish the rest, okay. So we're going to quickly create the rest. Now if you know what to do, try, and if you want to have a go yourself, try just to stop the video and maybe do it yourself. But if you need a bit of help, keep following the video. Okay, so you know, if you know what you're doing and you can just create the rest of the code and make it work, go for it and see how it goes. But if you want a bit of help, tune in and stay watching. Tune in, sorry. So duplicate and put another one. This is going to be 3. Duplicate again. That's going to be 4. I know I haven't put the 4s in and all that sort of stuff. I'll come back to that in a moment. Duplicate that. Okay. And so if we go back, what number have I got? So we've got 1, 2. So if the roll is 3, show that. We'll do all the LEDs in a second. 4. Okay. 5. And then we'll do the final one. It's got a bit small, I know. There we go. Make it a bit bigger. And if it's 6, do that. So 6 is that, isn't it? On a dice. 5 is that, isn't it? 5. So this is what we're showing on the LEDs. 4 is it that? Is that 4? Yeah, I think it is. Let's go back to 4. Yeah, that's right. So always check. 4. 3 is that, I believe. Okay. 2 is that already. So what we've got here, we've got ifs. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. If the number is it. Okay, let's just try that before we download it to the microbit. Okay, so let's give it a shake. 3. Give it another shake. 2. Give it another shake. 4, 5, 1, and it keeps going. 1, 2, and this is okay. So that's working, isn't it? So if you haven't got anything like that, you need to go through and do something called debugging, which will allow you to test why maybe you've missed something off there. Maybe you put in a variable or a number wrong. Okay, but the tricky bit in this code was realizing that we had to set up a variable to calculate the random number, and also we realized that actually 0 to 5 is how computers count, so 0 is a number, and we had to put an extra 1 on to compensate for that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to compile this, okay, which basically brings it together as a package and downloads it. Okay, here it goes, and it's downloading here, and this is going to be downloaded into my downloads folder. Okay, here. Now I'm actually going to change this. I'd like you to change it. So what you do is just click on it once and change it. I would call it, just to keep dice game. Okay, because what we can do is if we can save this, we can also use it next lesson. So say you didn't finish it, you can use it next lesson and import it as a save on. So what we can then do is let's rename it, and then let's cut it, take it out of downloads, and let's pop it in our year 8 folder. Okay, so let's go to documents and 16 S Carter. I'll just create a quick folder called year 8. Okay, and computer science. Okay, and this should be, you might already have the structure here, so don't worry about it too much, but I'm just 8B, and I would paste that file we just cut in here, dice game. Okay, and then you've got it stored, okay, so you know where it is. Now, how do we get this onto our microbit and make it work? Well, first of all, I'm just going to quickly plug everything together and just go steady. So I'm putting the battery pack in, which I need once I've compiled the program. So that's in. Just careful how you do that. And I'm putting the USB in as we speak. So maybe you do the same. And I'm plugging it to one of the front USB ports. And you can hear that. Okay, and you can see here. So now we want to get this hex file, this program file, into here. So I like doing it this way. I like right-clicking copy, and then go into the microbit file, and then go right-click paste, and then it should sort of flash across. It's called flashing the card, and that should flash across. And you should look on the back of your microbit. It should have a yellow, orangey light sort of flash. Okay, so that's now ready. So let's take. Okay, so this is not very good demonstration. So I'm just going to take the USB out. So I've only got the microbit and the battery pack connected. And if I press the button, the black button on the back once, that should start the program. If I give it a shake, okay, if I give it a shake, he says, famous last words. Press the button a couple of times, and that is working. Yep, so I can shake it. Actually, no, it's not working. I thought it was working. I've got the battery pack up the wrong way by the looks of it. Okay, oh, here we go. That's working. The battery lid was just off a little bit. Yep, so I'm just giving it a flick. So I'm holding it with 2 fingers, and I'm just giving it a flick. 2, 5, 6, 6, 5, and that seems to work. Okay, have a go. And if it's, show your friends and show it's working. Show your teacher. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Anyways, so that's the dice game created, and hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, take care.